Hello and welcome to the town of Sandwich on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. It's my birthday. I've got the boys with me, bringing you along to hopefully soak in some history and some beauty of the Cape. This gorgeous 70-degree summer day. Really excited to be here. It was sort of a random last-minute decision, but we decided to go for it. We're just gonna drive around and see where the day goes, explore some stuff. We found this really cool mill, so we stopped and decided, let's take a look. One thing we may do, the boys really want to go look at the Kennedy compound on Hyannis, so we might do that. There's a ton of history and adorable architecture on Cape Cod, along with all the beauty of the ocean and the way that we are out on this peninsula. But there is incredible history sprinkled all around, and that's what I intend on finding today. Look at this mill. This is so cute. I'm gonna have one of my favorite kind of days, just seeing what happens and going with the flow. This is the cutest thing ever. It's really beautiful. A lot of these little towns around here are just so gorgeous. Dexter's Grist Mill. 16. Is that 37? Wow. 1637. Everything is just so picturesque and so darn pretty. 1637, that's amazing. I mean, we are not far from Plymouth, of course, of Pilgrim fame, where the Scrooby separatists came from Scrooby, England. Dissenters that came and really became the heartbeat and foundation of America. Just within the next generation, they started to fan out and came here. And again, a place rich in history. I mean, there was some uprisings and battles off the coast during the Rev War that came on later, which we'll be discussing as we follow the 250 timeline. Started with Pilgrim settlers and their families here. Of course, in the 18th century, shipbuilding. There continues to be a big fishing industry, of course. And it's a summer playground for people from all over the world. Easy to see why. It's absolutely beautiful. So you can go in it. They're charging $5 a person, and they kind of give you a tour. It's quite small, and the tour lasts about a half an hour. We're just really short on time, so I think we're gonna just stick to this beautiful view here. Would be a fun thing to come back and do maybe in the fall if they're open year-round. But we've got stuff to see, and these kids are hungry, so Kay's not with us. He's at home. He had to work. He's slammed. But we're on a adventure today. Forgot to tell you guys that Sandwich was actually part of the Plymouth Bay colony. So when I said that, like, oh, that next generation came here, I mean, it was like the next bunch of them quickly started to grow. And if you look at old maps of Plymouth, the area then known as Plymouth was much bigger than just the town of Plymouth now. So it was big, it spread out, and then, you know, these towns that butted up to it and encompassed kind of the whole area, you had the same folks settling in these outlining areas, so those connections are strong. Even with my guys here, the grandfather I've talked to you guys about, named Peter Wright, who came from England, that settled Oyster Bay, New York. He's like the founder of Oyster Bay. He actually came here to Sandwich first. Nathan reminded me, like, wait a minute. I'm like, oh crap, that's right, I forgot. How could I forget that? So, you know, came from England, came to Sandwich for a while, and then quickly went over to Oyster Bay, which was, you know, a no man's land as far as European settlers went. There was native population fishing the waters. Even then, it wasn't like a big bustling area. So Peter Wright founded it, created the village that is still there today. And it's just crazy to follow those patterns. And, you know, a lot of you will have similar stories. You know, there's people that I meet in New England that go back generations. It's amazing. And it's kind of funny to think that we're having a full circle moment here because, you know, coming from the West, coming back is kind of like coming back home. And it's kind of funny when you think about how hard some of the folks worked that started here and started moving their way west. You know, they were here, then they went to New York, and then they went to the Midwest, and then eventually out to Oregon. And it's like, wow, all that, and we just wind up 2 hours away in New Hampshire. So kind of fun to think about stuff like that. I think there is truth in something kind of being quote unquote in your blood. So just a thought as we drive along here on our way to check out. The boys convinced me. They really, you know, we've seen the Bush compound in Kennebunk. We got to round it out and check out. We're headed to the Kennedy Memorial, but we might stop along the way. We're still looking for food, and it's a gorgeous day. So you never know what's going to happen. And as usual with my adventures, a lot can happen in between. So we're going to keep going here. It's a good day. All right, we have arrived at the JFK Memorial. It is so beautiful out, you guys. And the drive here was so fun. So here is the memorial to our 35th president, who of course was sadly assassinated in Dallas, Texas, but he was definitely a Massachusetts boy. Of course, I'm speaking of JFK. And this beautiful memorial here for him. Look at this. Oh, it does not get more picturesque than this. It is so beautiful. This is classic Cape Cod beauty right here. And I can't get over how perfect the temperatures are. Now, it was JFK's father, Joseph, who started bringing them out here for vacation, and in 1926 they bought a beautiful home nearby. We're gonna go take a look, see how close we can get. And the family started expanding and buying adjacent homes, and this is where they would vacation. Of course, JFK was more of a Boston boy, specifically Brookline, Massachusetts, close to Boston. But they did enjoy summers here, and they continue to do that. I think that everyone could agree that this would be a beautiful place to vacation. There were some things I do like about JFK. He said some really good things, and one thing is for sure, he did, no matter what else you think, he did love this country. And that cannot be said about everybody that is alive today, or even probably people that were around then, though I think there was more of a spirit of patriotism in the past in this country. Okay, so here's the thing. It's like right over here. Okay, our attempts to look at the Kennedy houses are kind of a failure because they're down private drives, and I feel like somebody would come yell at me. Like, it's scary. But we are currently on this crazy road that is literally carved through the sand, and we are like pretty much driving on the beach. This is really amazing. I'm hoping there's somewhere I can park. So far I haven't seen any public parking or beach access. Ted Kennedy's house is right down there, and I feel like I'm definitely being watched somehow, so I'm gonna move on. So this is not like the Bush compound in Kennebunk where you can clearly see the house and there's parking and everyone's out taking pictures. They make this a little more tricky. Kind of a crazy golf course up there. Driving back through the beach zone. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get any view. I will definitely insert pictures but that's probably all I've got. I definitely don't want to go down a road that says private drive. It's Dale Avenue, and apparently, like Ted Kennedy's was behind us, but the other ones, RFK Sr. and JFK's, are down here. And look, this is not a Kennedy place, I don't think, but look at this place with the windmill. That is so cool. But I don't think we're gonna be able to like really see anything. See there, it says private, do not enter. They're all down there, so yeah. 111, right there. That's the house. Okay, we have arrived in downtown, kind of Main Street Hyannis, and here's the JFK Museum. They're of course closed already. You know, it's weird. A lot of things, story of my life, closed on Mondays. Some things also close on Tuesday, but today's my birthday, it's Monday, and honestly, like, we looked at doing a lot of different things today, and the reason we didn't do those different things is because they were not open. But it's cool, because it had us, you know, gave us the idea to come down to the Cape today, and this is just working out beautifully. Having so much fun. So we found an Irish pub to eat at across the street, so kind of keeping in theme. We're gonna go get some food and then check out some beaches and see what else we can find. Boy's pointing out that it's kind of cool because they've never seen a statue of a president that's so casual. He's just chilling with his pants rolled up, enjoying dipping his feet in the sand like anybody would. Noah saying that he was kind of a casual guy. What's up?
There's a fly in his head.
Oh no! Seems like a happening little part of town too. Some signage in front of the museum. There's the house we couldn't see from the road. A tribute to the Wampanoag chieftain who befriended and aided our early settlers. And here comes ankle biters. Ankle biters!
Yeah.
Sachem Ayanu died 1623 in tribute to the Wampanoag chieftain who befriended and aided our early settlers. Hyannis bears a derivative of his name.
No.
Very cool. Does the Kennedy Legacy Trail get you to a view? I don't think so. We drove quite a ways from here. I would be really surprised, but we may need to venture down here. Walkway to the sea. This town is just so dang cute. Everything is so beautiful. My gosh, we happened upon the ukulele club. That's hilarious. I'm not laughing at ukuleles, I'm just laughing at ukuleles. Didn't have ukulele club on my birthday bingo card. Oh my gosh. Didn't know I was getting a free concert. Oh. Okay. Where the heck is the water? That's my question. Oh, let's check this out. It's kind of a little art vendor co-op thing. And Noah just can't stand the temptation. He is going to buy all 3 of these Jaws stickers. He's super excited. We were just talking about how Jaws is like a source of pride in New England right now, and this artist said that he made them a long time ago, but he thought he'd bring them out, and they've been doing really well. They're based on oil paintings you did. That's cool.
Oil paintings that I did and just created stickers out of it.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And how can people find you?
I am on Instagram, so if you just scan this one right here, it brings you right to my Instagram, TikTok, everything is on there. So
awesome.
Just open your camera, take a picture, and it's there, and it's up here at Joe Duchess and work.
Sweet.
Yeah.
There you go. That's really beautiful stuff.
Thank you so much.
See. Those are awesome. Super nice guy too. This is cool that they do this like art thing. This is the Hyannis Arts Cultural District. Old Colony Railroad, operated in southern New England in the 1800s. I guess we're along that. And now they have turned it into this cool open art space. That's really neat. This is along the Harbor Walk. Nice little rundown. Welcome to the working waterfront, Hyannis Harbor, bustling with all the activities of a working harbor. In the second largest commercial fishing port on Cape Cod, visitors can watch local fishing fleets offload their cargo and enjoy recreational boating. A schooner is a sailing ship with 2 or more masts. The Wampanoag Indians, members of the Algonquin Nation, were among the first settlers in the area. They were here for thousands of years before the European influx to North America in the 1600s. Very true. And remember that we had peace with the Wampanoag people when we first got here. It was that second round and King Philip who kind of messed things up, and then we messed things up, and then it went back and forth, and it was a sad state of affairs. I know we said we were going to go eat. We're all starving. But we got sidetracked by this beautiful day and this awesome walking trail. I can tell you right now, I would so come back here any day. This is awesome. There is some boku bucks floating out here. Yeah, it is very Jawsy. They're both like, oh, it's like Jaws. We would have to get on the ferry over here and go over to Martha's Vineyard to see the Jaws Bridge and the actual marina, which we still need to do. That darn ferry has still been sold out, believe it or not. I think we really need to go in the fall. I think my children should be models. You should be a model. Be a water hero. And be a poop scoop hero. Out in front of Spanky's gift shop. I think Mr. Spanky has seen better days. Shark bait hoo-ha. You guys ready to get some food?
Yeah.
Yes, me too. Okay, this is seriously cool. Like, I feel like I'm back in the motherland. This place is legitness. Starving. Look at this. Starving. This is awesome. They had good reviews and then like a menu that anybody could find something, so I think it's a winner. Oh, this is kind of cool. Here's a little history on the restaurant. Our pub is named the Odd Triangle, tribute to the famous Irish ballad lamenting life in Dublin's Mountjoy prison, written by Dominic Behan. For his 1954 play, the song's title refers to the metal triangle once rung daily to regulate prison routines. Though no longer used, this odd triangle remains a poignant symbol of perseverance and hardship. Yum. I am so full. That was a lot of food. Keeping up my policy of taking a little stroll after being stuffed. I cannot come through Barnstable without stopping to see this dynamic duo. Author of one of my favorite books, The Rise and Progress of the American Revolution. She was a playwright. She wrote pamphlets, patriot. Even before the revolution, she was writing, drumming up support for the cause. Amazing, bold lady. Mercy Otis Warren, born right here in Barnstable. She is buried at the cemetery in Plymouth, just up the way from here. Grew up here in Barnstable. Of course, they're here in front of the historic Barnstable County Courthouse, which is looking extra patriotic and beautiful tonight. And here's her brother, James Otis. Equally patriotic, a lawyer, politician, defender of liberty. They were raised right. And actually, they were Mayflower descendants and come from a long legacy of amazing people who believed in the vision of America, wanted to make it a beacon, and they did their part. Important to note that her husband had the same name as her brother. So, well, this gentleman was James Otis Jr. Mercy went by, she hyphenated, Mercy Otis Warren. Her husband was James Warren, not related to Dr. Joseph Warren. The kids are fascinated by these pillars here are actually not real. They look like concrete from a distance. They're made of wood?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see here. Interesting about this, while this looks like concrete or plaster, this entire thing, well, the decorative aspect is made of wood. It's like a textured paint covering wood, and it is quite in the state of decay. And you know, the weather here by the ocean, it would be tough on things like that. That's interesting. I always just assumed that they were concrete. Never looked that close, but the boys noticed. James, an attorney and patriot, and Mercy using the written word to drum up the cause. So, two great people, and her husband, James Warren, also a wonderful, wonderful man. No relation to Dr. Joseph Warren. It says here that in 1827, a devastating fire destroyed Barnstable County Courthouse, the building that held virtually all of Barnstable County's deeds and other records. The one-room colonial era courthouse was not involved, but too small to serve the Cape's rapidly growing population, so the county's leaders decided to build a new courthouse. Solution was the building you see here today, started in 1831, made of granite. Not all of it. It was intended for both court and safety, and to safely store the county's deeds and records. The design of this building features a pediment and 4 columns across the front, made it one of the Cape's first Greek revival structures. Huh. And here you can see kind of the evolution of that. Barnstable County was formed June 2nd, 1685, when Plymouth Colony was divided into 3 counties. See? It compromises all of the area we refer to as Cape Cod, including all the Cape's 15 towns. Okay. The town of Barnstable was selected as the Shire town, or seat of government, because of its location central to the population at the time and due to the influence of Plymouth Colony's governor, Thomas Hinckley, an original settler of Barnstable. So, like I said before, a lot of the folks that came here early on, their families previously were from the Plymouth Colony proper. So that is how this all got started. And it's cool because I imagine, I mean, minus the modern roads and whatnot, you know, if these folks came here today, it wouldn't look shockingly different from how it did. There are some places people would travel to current time and it would be shocking, but this place would not be quite as shocking. You still have very old buildings and, of course, the nature. It's coastal, so, you know, there's going to be some erosion and things like that, but it's probably not a drastic change. So that's kind of fun to think about. That's one of the kind of nerd things I wonder about, is if these people came back, what would they think? I think Bostonians of old would be shocked, but maybe not the Cape Codders. As I said, I always stop here to remember these two wonderful members of the Otis family. Again, her book on the Revolutionary War, almost firsthand, because she knew those people. She was part of it and was witness to it, and wrote everything down eloquently. And she's a really good resource for me. I know that I've pored over that. She's got some plays too that you can still find copies of that are very interesting online. Highly recommend. We have arrived at Sandy Neck Beach in beautiful Sandwich on Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and look at this. The sun is setting on another birthday. Another year older. But you know what? That's okay. I am glad to be alive, healthy, and blessed, and to have spent the day with you all and with my amazing boys. There were lots of signs warning about sharks. The boys are impressed. They're like, no, this is a beach. This is almost like a West Coast style beach. Reminds them more of like an Oregon beach, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Look at that. See, they're way in the distance to the left of where the sun is setting. The Bourne Bridge, which is the bridge you have to go over to get back and exit the Cape. We will be heading north, back home tonight. Same ocean, seacoast of New Hampshire, but wow, what a fun day. That is like yelling fire in a movie theater. You can't yell shark on a beach in Cape Cod. Dorks. The Kindness Rock Garden. You know what? I am the same age as General Washington when he came here and led a Revolutionary War, and he had a lot of good years yet left in him. Battles to win, and he wasn't even president yet, so mid-aged people can do all kinds of things. And listen, I feel younger than ever in a lot of ways, so I'm looking forward to what's ahead and adventuring with you guys more. So like Patrick Henry, I know of no way of judging the future but by the past. Like, shares, and subscribes, always appreciated. Remember, I'm also on Instagram at @that_historychick, on Facebook at @thathistorychick, and right here on YouTube at @thathistorychick with more exciting content. We will see you very soon. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this Cape Cod adventure with me on my birthday. Really appreciate you guys. We will see you soon. Bye. There it goes. And some people say New England doesn't have sunsets. That's just silly. Did you see that?